Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard, and I'd like to talk about oil pulling. Oil pulling is a technique, ancient Ayurvedic technique, where you put oil in your mouth, traditionally sesame or coconut or herbalized oils in your mouth, and you swish or gargle for about 10 to 20 minutes. Good studies have shown that it actually is great for plaque buildup. It actually gets rid of bacteria. It's good for your gums. It's good for gingivitis, for oral mucosa. It supports the health of your mouth. It definitely supports great oral hygiene. Now, you may have heard there's lots of reports definitely on the web about oil pulling curing tons of different types of diseases. Back in the mid-90s, a newspaper in India put out a survey and asked anybody who had any experience with oil pulling to write in. And literally thousands of people wrote in telling their story about having healing benefits from oil pulling. Cancers and diabetes and heartburn and so many conditions. And it started really an international buzz where people were reading about it and trying to learn more about it. And the good news is lots of good research was done as a result of it, proving that it's really quite good for your oral mucosa. Whether it's actually good for all these diseases hasn't been studied. But traditionally, there is actually some research that I've cited in the article associated with this video that shows that when you actually take oil in the body, it has a chelating, it has a pulling effect on the body. When you take ghee or clarified butter during some of the cleanses that we give, that actually helps the body become a better fat burner and literally pulls toxins out of the fat cells. These techniques have been studied. I cite those studies in my article. So there is something to be said about putting oil in your mouth, and the oil will pull lipophilic or other oil-based chemicals or toxins out of the tissues. That's the theory. Now, there's lots of research that needs to be done to prove that theory, but there is research that's been done that shows that when you put those kinds of oils or you oleate the body internally, it does have a powerful and documented detoxifying effect. So it's reasonable for us to assume that when you put oil in your mouth and swish for 20 minutes, you're going to have a pulling effect. And if you ever have done this technique, you can feel your sinuses begin to drain, your throat beginning to drain. You definitely feel a pulling effect. There's no question about that. Whether or not that pulling effect will cure the diseases that you might read about on the web, that's to be determined. But there is something very special about it. I wanted to discuss oil pulling, talk about the research, talk about some of the theories. Definitely more research needs to be done, but it's something that I would recommend doing. I think I do it myself. I think it's very, very powerful. And we live in a world of fat-soluble toxic exposure, and our head and our neck become some of the central depositing places for those fat-soluble toxins. And we know that it's great for your teeth and your gums, so why not give it a whirl? The research is actually being done, but like I said, there is research on the concept that's done internally that makes a lot of sense. So please read the article associated with the video, learn more about oil pulling, and thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.